Welcome back to our community. The Tuscarawas County Fair is taking place this week. We've got Doug Wills here, nice enough to step away from all the excitement to talk with us about everything going on. Doug, we've talked about so many things that are the same, these time-honored traditions, and we can get back into some of those in more detail. Like I'm fascinated that the competition of the tractor pull is as big a deal as it is. But there's also been some changes. Let's talk about those. What have you seen that's different?
Over the years, and when it first started, the fairs was where everybody went to see their favorite country music performers, and the fairs was where the artists would come and to. That has changed over the years. It's hard to get performers to come to county fairs, quite honestly.
Really?
Really. And when they do come, they want a tremendous amount of money. We get asked all the time, why don't you bring somebody like a Garth Brooks or someone like that? When I tell them, well, that would take about $250,000. And they go, what? Everybody has favorites. It is really hard to get performers to come to the fairs, and we have a great reputation of working with performers. So one of the things that's really changed over the years, because there's so many events competing for these performers now, that it's not like the old days where that's how they got known. Now we have a great heritage in Tuscarawas County that's been out there. We've had everybody from Reba McEntire to Garth Brooks and Brad Paisley over those years, but we found them on the way up, and so it's really tough. And so James Otto this year and Chris Higbee will be phenomenal entertainment. But they're on their way up, and many fairs throughout the state of Ohio has said, we're not doing this anymore. We give up. We can't compete with the price. We can't afford it. And people don't want to. They don't want to pay the higher prices to bring the big performers in, and we get that. So it's a balancing act. So many of the fairs, and I know the local Stark County Fair here has the same issue. We just had Tim McGraw down the street here at the Hall of Fame.
The legends.
Yes. And so, it kind of gets to us a little bit that they'll go out and they'll shell out a whole large amount of money, but when it comes to the fairs, they expect to pay very little to see these top flight entertainers.
Well, you've got a great track record. If you've had Brad Paisley, Reba McEntire, and so forth on the way up, then we will just trust your judgment that these other two lesser-known names, say them again, please.
Yes, and James Otto and Chris Higbee.
We will understand that in a few years, these guys are going to be unattainable. So see them now while you can.
It's really funny when we go back and look who we had 3 and 4 years ago, and we go back and we see them at the Country Music Awards getting Artist of the Year, Entertainer of the Year, and we go, yes.
You discovered them.
We did.
You got them going. That's so cool. All right, let's jump back to the tractor pulls one more time.
You're excited about this.
I am, because I never knew. You said, no, this is a big thing because we're towards the end. We're one at the last, so there's a lot at stake. You mean these are cumulative as they go? Help me understand tractor pulls better.
All right, there's two things that happens. There's many associations out there. There's the Ohio State Tractor Pullers Association, and there's the National Tractor Pullers Association, and these fellows follow them across the states. In this case, not only are they pulling for dollars each event, but they're also gaining points as they go along. And so at the end of the year, to be named the Ohio State Tractor Puller Association champion is a tremendous amount of money. And sometimes it comes down to that very last pull, and it comes down to within inches. And so we take and literally fill our infield full of semis and people, and we've learned that we have to rotate those trucks in and out to get everybody in. And so, yes, that is not a low dollar budget operation in any sense of the word. I mean, it is amazing. And grandstands will fill up early. And tractor puller fans are very dedicated. They follow certain brands, green, red, and so and they follow individual tractors. And so it is quite, if you've never attended, very loud, very, very loud. And so then over the past years, you've integrated semis. So semis have became a pulling part, and then come along diesel pickup trucks, and of course, along with diesel pickup trucks came a lot of innovations there, and so they're building them also. Very high dollar pieces of equipment, very sophisticated.
Very cool. And so they're going for bragging rights or much more?
Oh, they're going for much more.
Yeah.
Those payouts are very large. But
amazing.
if you break, for example, a set of rear tires for one of those tractors, we could buy a new vehicle for one of those.
Wow. Well, how about the harness racing? That you're one of the ones, Tuscarawas County Fair is one of the ones that has hung on to harness racing as well. Still the great interest in that?
Still the great interest. Those years became lean because the payouts were not what they used to be. Mm-hmm. But we see it roaring back now with the new casinos and all the things that's happening in Ohio. Those payouts are becoming much larger, and we see it going to grow over the years. And so wage betting is allowed, and so yeah, you can come and you can bet on the horses, and so people look forward to that. And we see it roaring back, especially the quality of the horses coming back into the state, and it's amazing to me. Many of those races are very, very close as we get as they come. Maybe many people like to watch the Kentucky Derby.
Yes,
and so. Sometimes horses, we have to go back and look at the photo finishes to see who actually won.
Oh, same thing, and they're just beautiful animals, aren't they?
They are. They really are.
Amazing athletes, really.
Yes.
So you also have a couple of things with the motors. You've got the motocross and demolition derby, which I don't get that. Why do people have so much fun watching cars crash into each other?
I want to be honest. I don't get it either, but we're very blessed with it.
Yes.
The fact is that the demolition derby is our highest attendance at the grandstand.
Really?
Over everything. Yes. And we went through the time where it was hard to find a car, and so we had to change, and we changed. Now we've started a demolition derby with young people. These new little plastic toys that they could buy. We will have on an average of about 70 young people that they can't wait. We do that prior to the demolition derby. They will literally line up with these things and hit each other. They're battery powered.
You're talking about the little that the 3 and 4-year-olds drive in the backyard?
Yes, absolutely.
They're crashing.
And they tape their wheels up, and they do all those things, and they will keep hammering on each other at a very safe speed until either the batteries die or the motor don't go anymore. And so demolition derby in Tuscarawas County is just very unique, and God bless them. They're very dedicated, and I always say, if you got hit that hard out on the street, it would be somebody would be calling an ambulance,
suing someone for whiplash. Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
But not only do they not do anything, they hit them back harder.
It's like bumping cars at Myers Lake back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never got that either, but so many fun things going on. And our time is swiftly fleeing. We're talking with Doug Wills from the Tuscarawas County Fair. Right, let's talk food. What kind of food can we look forward to at the Tuscarawas County Fair?
Oh, the fair would not be the fair without food. And all the fair food, I think everybody has to have fair food once in their life, no matter what. Everything from sausage sandwiches. But we are unique. We do. A lot of people come from a long way. We have the beef producers and the pork producers, people will start lining up at their booth, and it'll be continual all day long, all evening long, for the beef sandwiches and anything from hamburgers to strip steaks, and on the pork side, from tenderloins to the famous pork burgers. And so that's one area we do have the Wayne County in. They're trying to copy our beef producers, and they've not been able to do that. But that is all done by volunteers. They do an outstanding job. And so people come from all over the state of Ohio to attend those two booths.
It does sound delicious, and I hate to ask this. Are those wonderful sandwiches like last year's winners of the livestock competition?
No, some of those animals sell very, very high. But but the unique thing about both of those booths are manned, and that is part of the Cattlemen's Association and the Pork Producers Association. So the quality of that meat, and a lot of those are farm raised, and that's what people say. Why can't I buy this type of product somewhere else? And it's just the fact that they've raised a lot of those animals, and then obviously they're serving them out in sandwiches. And so one of my favorite nights is to go up and get a strip steak sandwich or a pork burger, and now we found we can do pork burgers for breakfast with eggs and sausage. And
of course,
sure.
It sounds wonderful. All right, this is all taking place this week, so you really don't have to cook this week.
You do not.
No, you can just head to the Tuscarawas County Fair. The other exhibits I always love seeing how beautifully done the pickling and canning and so forth, the pie baking. There's just an art that has almost been lost. Can you talk about that a little bit? Will we see that this
Yes,
week?
you will. And that is an area that is coming back. Matter of fact, we dealt with that on Sunday night quite in depth because obviously the fine arts and the agriculture and is people are very proud of the flowers that they've grown, the canning that they've done, or the photographs they've taken, or the quilts they've made. And so all of that is a big part of the fair too. And not only the animals, but then you have the junior fair side of the sewing and the all of those projects that take up a large part of the fairgrounds also. One of the things that we dealt with on Sunday night is growing pumpkins, the largest pumpkin. And so we had a little problem. It came time for the official weigh-in, and the scales that are all electronic now would not work. So
oh no,
we are patiently waiting on, we will call a new time and they will be weighed. But I can tell you, this is becoming, since we decided to pay pretty good premiums for the biggest pumpkin, this is becoming a really big deal. And so there's 8 big pumpkins there, I believe, waiting to be weighed, and they all look very close to me in size.
Awesome. All right, well, check it all out. Go to TuscaraWasCountyFair.com, correct?
Correct.
Our website, get all the details, and we'll see you this week at the fair. Doug Wills, thank you so much for all you do for our community.
Well, thank you very much for having me.